899 tons same period in 2021, an increase of 24.4% increase year on year. The rise has been attributed to favorable weather conditions. And education stakeholders in the central region of Cameroon have committed to ensure a hitch-free 2022-2023 academic year and to ensure a clear, safe environment for studies, as schools are nowadays rife with violence and drug consumption. Those were major stories. Stay tuned for developments. Thanks for joining us once again on the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal, the International. He has been hiding under the profile of renowned state authorities on social media to extort money from individuals in exchange for jobs. The scammer, who has succeeded in draining millions of francs CFA from individuals, was arrested by the judicial police in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, after thorough investigation. He was presented to the press today in the nation's capital. Hi, Sentia, with more on the story.
This is a supposed scammer who had created numerous fake Facebook accounts of high-profile personalities and using them to extort money from Cameroonians by promising them appointment and recruitment into the public service and other state parastatals. Among the members of government pirated is the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of the Supreme State Audit, Mba Acha Rose, and the minister delegate at the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Paul Tasson, who alerted the forces of law and order.
Before proceeding to informing the intelligence services, I did some minimal investigations myself. And some of those investigations actually revealed the names, the real names of the people who were operating those Facebook accounts, because in most cases, the financial transactions went through mobile money operations.
But many had already fallen prey to the dubious activity.
After sending the money, I've been struggling to get to him, but he was not taking my calls. He was dropping. I was calling, he was dropping. Calling, he was dropping. When I wrote him on WhatsApp, he did not pick. He did not reply. Thereafter, he blocked my contact. It was then that my brain started functioning, that I've been duped.
Informed of the situation, the Delegate General for National Security instructed the elements of the Regional Division of the Judicial Police to track the culprit, who fell into their dragnet on August 19 in Susa, littoral region of Cameroon. At the time of his arrest, the 37-year-old was in possession of 4 mobile telephones and 17 SIM cards used for his money transactions. And presenting him to the press this Wednesday, September 7, it was an occasion to caution the public on the rampant phenomenon on the social media.
Our citizens have to separate the wheat from the chaff, the good from the bad grain. All that is available on social media is not always useful. You cannot choose bribe if you want to be a civil servant, because public service is against bribe and corruption.
The presumed scammer will be presented before the State Council to respond to charges levied against him.
And cattle and sheep traders of Marché Huitième in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, have decried the demolition of their business port for the construction of a slab of business for over a month. They demanded a new site that can permit them to sell freely. Hai Sentia, when talking to some of them, he gathered their reaction in this report.
They are stranded and frustrated. These cattle and sheep dealers here at the Huitième market in Yaoundé cry foul after the demolition of their business ports by the Yaoundé City Council. People came here and demolished our business ports. Until now, nobody is saying anything. According to this communique signed by the Yaoundé City Mayor, Luc Messi Atangana, on June 24th, the portion of land has been demarcated for the construction of a pork slab. The furious Muslims lament it is an abuse to their faith.
On casse les comptoirs de moutons et chèvres.
You cannot destroy a cattle or sheep business area to construct a pork slab. As Muslims, it pains us. Such an action cannot be welcomed by any Muslim in the world. The area they cry out were officially handed to them by the former government delegates of the Yaoundé City Council.
Ça, c'est le Timi Avouna qui l'a signé, c'est pas moi. C'est Timi Avouna qui l'a signé ça. Il a dit que bon, vous restez à Bankolo sans problème. Ça, c'est le marché pour vous. Quand le temps, le délégué de gouvernement a besoin de l'espace, normalement, il cherche l'autre espace, on laisse l'espace.
They, however, acknowledged that they were notified of the demolition process, but where they go to from here is what they cannot comprehend.
Nous ne luttons pas contre l'État. Personne ne peut faire le bras de fer avec l'État. On nous trouve l'endroit, le gars qu'on a cassé, on le recasse. C'est ça. Et ils nous disent de nous, mais on va encore nous casser.
And talking to one of the authorities of the City Council off camera, he says a temporary site is being figured out for the traders, and they will regain the modern market space after construction works. Meantime, the over 300 sellers continue to wander about.
The banana or the Cameroon banana exportation rate is currently on a steady rise. In the month of August 2022, Cameroon recorded a 24.4% exportation rate year on year, and the Cameroon Banana Association, ASO Obakam, has attributed the increase to favorable weather conditions. More in this report. The total tons of banana exported from Cameroon in August 2022 is 15,733, up from 12,651 tons same time last year, noticing a 24.4% increase year on year. According to the Cameroon Banana Association, the 24.4% increase is as a result of a rise in production experienced by the main exporter in the country. The market leader, Plantation de Penja, PHP, exported 12,899 tons this August, as against 10,683 tons same period last year, noticing a 20.7% increase. The second largest employer in Cameroon, the Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC, sold 1,905 tons of bananas in August 2022, as against 1,139 tons same period in 2021, recording a 67.2% increase. Bo Plantation exported 1,229 tons of bananas this August, up from 829 tons in August 2021, a record of 48.2% increase. The rise, according to the Cameroon Banana Association, Asubakam, boost in production in August 2022 is also due to favorable weather and the rehabilitation of more than 500 hectares of CDC plantations in 2021. And meeting the challenge of producing more and selling or importing less, actors in the fish farming sector in Cameroon, like promoters as well as fish facilitators, met in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, on Tuesday, September 6, 2022. The deliberations were chaired by the Minister of Livestock, Fishery and Animal Husbandry, Dr. Tiger, and this was aimed at outlining all the legal apparatus in place for the investments in the sectors in order to do so without constraint. Beatrice Ngamo tells us more.
Investing in pisciculture or aquaculture here in Cameroon needs a powerful legal backing to ensure those engaged do so without many difficulties. The population demand for fish is more than 400,000 tons yearly, but supply is still very insufficient. working with all the concerned ministries and the putting in place of certain strategies,
will be able to facilitate us, the private investors, to benefit from all what the government is putting in place to promote the aquaculture sector in Cameroon.
Some of the things to be in place for the actors to benefit fully include
environmental studies for fish farmers, the law of 2000 exonerating imports of inputs and material for fish farmers.
Issues under discussion at the second Interministerial Committee session in Yaoundé, opened by the Minister of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries, Dr. Tiger. Major difficulties rocking the fish farming sector: financing.
Most of the banks for the moment are not financing the sectors, and we are working with our own funds, which makes it very difficult to go large scale, which the bank is not behind you to finance the sector. The other difficulty is markets. Generally, locally produced fish is very well eaten by Cameroonians. Unfortunately, we don't have dedicated markets in order to promote this fish.
Which is very possible, especially as the concerned ministries are involved in the process. Move in place to boost local fish farming, widen the sector, make it competitive, brazen, made in Cameroon, while reducing importation of fish.
And education stakeholders in the central region of Cameroon have taken the commitment to ensure a hitch-free 2022-2023 academic year. A meeting in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, for a sectorial preparatory conference that is today at the Government Technical High School in Colbisson. The meeting that was chaired by the Governor Nasseri Pobia was an occasion to alert the stakeholders to ensure a clean and safe environment as school begins. Details with Beatrice Gamo once again.
Violence and drug consumption was the order in most secondary schools last academic year. Students attacking, threatening, injuring, killing students, students against teachers and school authorities, while the rate of drug consumption reached a disturbing level. The picture was really bleak in major towns, the central region no exception. It is to begin the 2022-2023 academic year on a solid ground that the stakeholders met in their sectoral preparatory conference this Wednesday at GTHS Colbisson campus in Yaoundé, under the coordination of Governor Nasseri Pobia. Reiterating instruction from Minister of Secondary Education
concerning clean schools, digitalization or e-learning, equally to inform them, the teachers and all the stakeholders, that they should believe in the state and that things have started changing and they will continue to change. So all of them should go to work and encourage our children to learn.
This by ensuring a conducive and safe environment for studies. The presence of the divisional officer for Yaoundé 7, like municipal representative, and the forces of law and order is for all to be on the alert. The central region, the administrative boss adds, needs to maintain her cap.
Thank and congratulate the education family of the secondary education for what they have done so far for last academic year in all the exams and even in the field of sports. And we encourage them to continue in that light, to do better this year so that Central Region maintains its position in all the domains.
The discussion centered around the theme, digitalization of teaching, an effective and efficient determining factor for the provision of training at the Ministry of Secondary Education.
And still in education, 3 days into the new school year, some primary and secondary schools in the littoral region are still wanting in infrastructures, teachers, and a clean environment. The problems and many others were observed by the governor of the littoral region, Samuel Dieudonné Vahadeboa, during a tour to some schools to ensure classes have effectively begun. Details with Marinde.
This is a state of some government nursery and primary schools in Douala, barely 3 days into the new school year 2022-2023. Filthy environments, dilapidating structures, lack of features, among many others, are some of the problems exposed to Littoral Governor as he embarked on a guided tour to some government nursery, primary and secondary schools this September 7 to check on the effectiveness of classes.
The pupils are already there since Monday, and they are working without ceasing. And
at government nursery and primary school, Misole 1, the teachers are worried on the future of the pupils.
With the Anglophone crisis, I have a lot of IDPs. And since the government school fees is 7,500, we also have PTA, which they have to pay. The parents are unable to pay because of they have just come in, they don't have job. And the situation too in my class, I don't have chairs and table. The government has given a project that they should build classes for me and give me tables and chairs. The classes have been built, but with no tables and chairs.
It is a similar problem at Government Bilingual High School, Misole 2 Center. Here, officials oblige divide classrooms into two and rent another structure for classes to be effective. But again, the number of teachers outnumbers the number of enrolled students. Elsewhere in the Bombari subdivision, their worries is upgrading Government Technical College into a Government Technical High School.
We want to congratulate the teachers of SETIC the Bombari because they are all present. They are more than even the pupils, saying that they are in a rural area.
Be it in nursery, primary or secondary schools, it was a similar message from Littoral Governor to students: self-discipline, hard work and excellent results at the end of the school year.
Administrators have intensified measures to ensure safety and to ensure the safety of students, especially on what they consume on campus. And students are encouraged to buy snacks from school canteens and avoid food sold out of the school campuses. To some parents, they prefer preparing snacks for their children, as we hear in this report by Stefan.
Sanitation measures have been intensified during this first week of back to school in various institutions in the economic city, Douala. Visiting some schools like École Lovia and Lycée d'Aquanor in the Douala 5 municipality, we were given some measures taken concerning feeding in and around their school campuses. No food comes from outside. All food is cooked at the canteen, which you have seen. There are just few exceptions of students who come along with their snacks. Food sold in school canteens are checked to ensure the safety of students and teachers. Some meals not allowed due to after effects. Here we don't sell beans because it makes students sleep. We don't sell pap. There are meals like pounded Irish beans, arrow, and stuff like that we don't sell because they are cooked with oil. Children eat to go to school and later fall asleep. Before it was accepted, but it has been banned. At the level of the canteen, cooking is done every day. Food doesn't come from outside. Our cooking is done at the spot and at all times are passed by the canteen to ensure that it is done in respect to measures. Vendors out of campus attest to the fact that some students still buy from them despite restrictions from administrative authorities. Some parents prefer homemade snacks for their children to take to school. I prefer preparing packs. A child should leave the house with his pack. For good food, I think it's that prepared on the school campus because we do not know how food sold out of campus is done, whereas food on campus, I think, is controlled by school administrators. The importance of good health is unavoidable, especially in learning milieus. What has pushed school administrators to deliberate and enforce measures necessary to live healthy.
And it is with that report that we wrap up this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. The French edition would be yours at 7:50 p.m.
Schools begins effective
with Alain Gislain Kanga. Up next is Debrief de l'Actualité with Janice Kanga. I will be yours again same time tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye.